Olivia, and I'm a vegan private chef here in Melbourne. And this video has been funded by the Maidstone Community Centre, which is a part of Maribyrnong City Council. And today we will be making a few different flavors of bubble tea. So we're going to use tapioca pearls, which I purchased at an Asian grocery store. So this is the instant kind, which only takes about 5 minutes to cook. However, you can also get a bigger bag of the dried ones, which take about 30 to 45 minutes to cook. But these are already mostly cooked, so we just need to boil them for a few minutes. So I already have a pot of water boiling, so it's about 10 cups of water to 1 cup of pearls, but you can just follow the directions on your own pack if they say something different. So this is 10 cups of water here boiling. I'm going to measure out my 1 cup of pearls. Okay, and then I will just put that in there. And I'm just going to give it a little bit of a stir so that they don't start to stick together. I'm going to take a look over here. I'm just going to wait until they start to float on their own, coming up to the surface. And then once that happens, I'm going to put the lid back on, time for about 2 to 3 minutes, and then turn off the heat and let it cook for another 2 to 3 minutes until they're the softness that I want. So if I want them a little softer, leave them in for another minute or so. Otherwise, turn it off a bit sooner. So you can see they're already starting to come to the surface here. Okay, so now that that's happening, I'm gonna take my lid, cover that up, and we will wait for about 2 minutes. All right, so our tapioca pearls have been simmering for about 2 to 3 minutes here. So you can see they've expanded quite a bit. So I'm just gonna turn off the heat, keep it covered, might just give it another little stir so all the outside ones come in. They all get that nice even heat, and then I'm gonna keep it covered, carefully take it off the heat, and give it about another 2 to 3 minutes until they're the nice type of chewiness that I prefer. So we've had them soaking in that hot water for about 2 more minutes, and they've already gotten quite soft. So if you want to have a look there, nice and squishy. So I'll just scoop those out into the cold water, and that'll just give them a little shock, help them cool down so that they don't keep cooking and getting too soft. Once those are in there for about 20 seconds or so, we'll go ahead and put them into a dry bowl. And then from there, we will mix them with a sweetener. So as far as sweeteners, pretty much any liquid sweetener will do. So I'm using some agave syrup, which is a plant-based sweetener that comes from a cactus. You can also use maple syrup or coconut nectar, or you can even make your own simple syrup by boiling half hot water and half sugar, if you just want to go with regular sugar. So we have most of our pearls out here. Just getting those last few stragglers from the bottom. And then once those are able to soak in there for a few more seconds, we'll strain them out, toss them in the sweetener, and then we'll just let them chill to the side while we make our different flavors. So today we're going to be making 4 different flavors of bubble tea. So 2 are more of a more traditional sort of milk tea, and then 2 are more of a fruit tea. We have all of our bubbles out, all of our pearls. They're sometimes called boba. So I'm just going to strain them into another bowl here. So just shake off all of that residual water there. Okay, and then for this amount of pearls, we're just going to do about 2 tablespoons of sweetener. So again, I have the agave syrup, my sweetener for today. But if you don't like them that sweet, you can leave it out or do a bit less, or you can always do a bit more if you want it a little extra sweet, although we will have a chance to add sweetener to the teas themselves as well once we're at that step. Okay, so I'm just going to toss this with the agave here, get it all coated, and then we'll set that to the side and we will start making our tea. So I've already boiled some water, so it's not quite boiled. It's good if it's a little bit cooled off from that boiling temperature. And we're gonna do 2 different types of hot tea. So the first one is just a black tea, so I just chose an English breakfast tea bag here. So I'm just gonna pour that in, about half a cup, maybe a bit more. Okay, and then once that steeps for a few minutes, I'll just move it to the fridge so that it can be nice and chilled for our bubble tea. And then we're also going to use a special matcha tea, which is a Japanese green tea. So this is sort of the premium grade matcha powder, but you can also use whatever you can find at the store, and they might have different instructions depending on the brand and type. So for this one, we're gonna do about a 1/4 teaspoon of matcha powder, because it's quite strong, to about a half a cup of water. Again, not quite boiling, a little bit less than that. So you can see that nice bright green color. We're just gonna sift it through a little strainer here. So just getting out all those little extra clumpy bits, so it's really nice and fine, pure matcha. So you can see that nice powder in there. And then we're gonna add in our hot water. And if you want it stronger, you can do a little more, or less strong, a bit less. Just keeping in mind we are adding in a fair amount of milk in here as well. All right, so I have my little whisk. I'm just gonna whisk that up until it gets a little bit foamy. So about 15-25 seconds. But again, just you can follow the instructions on your own brand of matcha or other green tea. And then we'll just let that brew a little bit as well and let those cool down. So with the matcha, I did add in about another 1/4 teaspoon or so, just because I do like it a little bit stronger, and it is probably a little closer to a cup of water in here. So I give it another sift and another whisk, and now I'm gonna put it into an airtight container and give that a shake just to make sure that everything is fully blended together. No little bits of powder are left. Okay, so now you can see that's all foamy. And then I'll just put that back in the cup and let that finish cooling down. So now that we have those, we're going to move on to our fruit teas. So we're going to be blending up a couple different fruits today. So I'm going to do a mixture of fresh and frozen, but you can always just do one or the other, come up with your own sort of combinations of different fruits. So for the first one, I'm going to do some fresh mango with some frozen passion fruit puree. And then for the second one, we'll do some fresh kiwi, blend it up with some frozen pineapple. And you can also add any extra liquid, just water or some extra fruit juice to get it to the consistency that you want. So I'm just gonna peel the skin off the mango. So we peeled our mango just using the peeler. Now I'm just gonna cut around the pit. So just getting as much of that nice fresh fruit off as I can. And then once I have as much cut off as I can get around the pit, I'm going to put that into the blender, and then I'm going to go ahead and add in that frozen passion fruit puree as well. There's plenty of other flavors you might like to do, maybe some other kind of citrus like orange or lemon, grapefruit, some kind of peach or plum. Really just whatever you have on hand, I'm sure will be delicious. Okay, so we have that all cut off, so I'm just going to add that in to the blender. Again, you can add in, if you have some juice already, you can blend it with that, or else just water or ice is okay too. There's already some ice around the frozen passion fruit, so I'll just start with that and then see if I want to add in a little bit more liquid in there. You can also add in a splash of milk here if you want. It's just, you don't want to add too much milk or else the acid from the fruit might start to curdle the milk. So I'm just going to give this a blend, and then we will have our first fruit tea ready. We finished blending the mango and passion fruit. So it was 1 mango and about a cup of frozen passion fruit, and I added about a half a cup of water to just help it blend a little bit more. So that's all nice and smooth. You can see it's nice and pourable. So I'm just going to go ahead and put that in the fridge, and then I'm also going to chill the pearls, so I'm just going to give them another little stir, make sure they're not sticking together, but they're having a nice little soak there in the syrup. There's probably a little bit of water in there as well, just from when they were cooking. And then we will also go ahead and chill our black tea and our green tea now that those have had a little time at room temperature to steep. I've taken out the tea bags, and I'm just gonna put everything in the fridge. Now that we have those other components chilling, we're gonna prepare our final fruit tea. So this will be the kiwi and pineapple. So I have our fresh kiwi fruit here. So I'm just gonna, again, use my peeler and peel off all of the skin. So I've finished peeling off the skin of the kiwi. So I'm just gonna chop it into a few big pieces, but if you have a fairly high-speed blender, it should do the rest for you. So I'll just add those into my blender here. And then again, I'm gonna be combining this with pineapple, but you could do like strawberries or any type of berries or any other fruit that you enjoy, fresh or frozen. And I'm gonna add in our pineapple here. Then I'll blend that together, and again, I might end up adding a little bit of extra liquid, maybe another half cup or so, just so that it will all be nice and smooth to be able to pour for our bubble tea. So that was 2 kiwis, about a cup of frozen pineapple, and maybe half a cup of water. Now we have everything ready to go, and we're just ready to put it all together. So we have our delicious tapioca pearls here. So about quarter, third, half a cup per glass, just depending on your own preferences, just enough to at least cover the bottom. I'm just gonna put a little bit into each glass here. And from here, just add in a few ice cubes. This is optional, but of course just helps it stay a little more chilled. From here, we'll be ready to add in our fruit. So we'll do the bigger ones with the fruit because we're not adding in any milk, although you could add in a splash if you wanted. So we have our first one ready to go, which is the kiwi, pineapple, boba, and then our next one will be our other fruit, which is the mango and passion fruit and boba. So I'll pour that in here. And then we'll be ready to do our more traditional teas. So we have the black tea. So I'm gonna fill it up about a third of the way with tea and then fill the rest of the way with milk. So in this case, I'm using almond milk, and it is a little bit sweetened already for this brand. So I may not need any extra sweetener, but you can always taste it. And if you wanna add some more of that agave or maple or simple syrup, you can definitely do that as well. And then I'll do the matcha green tea the same way in the other glass. And I'll give my almond milk a shake and fill those up the rest of the way. All right, and then the final step is the straws. So I just have some paper straws here, although you would need to get the wider ones if you actually want to be able to sip the pearls up, which is the best part. So I'll just give that a little stir. So here we have our finished teas. I did end up adjusting the ratios a little bit with a little bit more tea and a little bit less milk, but that's all up to your taste. So again, here on the left we have the matcha green tea, then the kiwi pineapple fruit tea, then the mango and passion fruit tea, and finally the black tea and almond milk. And I just put a couple little fruit wedges in there just for a final garnish. You can see the bubbles at the bottom, the ice in the middle, and the tea and fruit on top with our nice paper straws. So I hope you all enjoy making your own boba bubble tea at home.